Tippy time, my damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. With that recent roaming super buff that we got in 8.1.5, our roamers have risen in the meta. Unfortunately though, for our Prismatic hunters, this didn't touch most of our supers, it didn't affect our tether, our Storm's Edge, Squall or Golden Gun. Thankfully though, we do have Silk Strike, and although its power has dropped back a little bit since its release, this super is still tremendous ad clear. It got that 30% bonus to our champions, its light / direct attack pre-season hit for 59,000, this now hits for 77,000, and its heavy attack / AoE did hit 36, now hits 48k. To get down and dirty with this super, the deeper we get, the better it feels. So we're going to want to run Facet of Protection to give us damage resist while surrounded. This is a 15% damage resist at base, and whilst we're Transcendent, this jumps up to 33%. We're going to grab that exotic class item, as in the top slot we can get Spirit of Galanor. This can feed us up to half of our super's energy bar back after our super is completed. Now generally this will require us to hit a target about 6 to 8 times, somewhere in that window. In our Grandmaster content, it takes 3 to 4 light attacks to drop a champion, but as our heavy attack / AoE attack hits multiple targets at once, and with one attack actually making 2 contacts, whenever you pop, you are pretty much guaranteed to get half of it back. Now when it comes to the aspects here, you need to make a choice that suits your playstyle. We've got a couple of options to deal with champions. We've got infinite use of dodge whilst in our super, so when paired with that Winter Shroud aspect, we can both slow overloads, and with 2 dodges, we can stun unstopped champions. I, however, am not running this. I've chosen to run the Ascension aspect. We long press that dodge whilst in the air to lightning god and jolt all those targets below us. I've chosen this as going to balance our transcendence better and is going to add more AoE damage whilst we're in our super. This also makes us amplified, so I'm pairing this with Facet of Hope so we can get our ability back every 13 seconds. One of the biggest reasons I've opted for Ascension over Winter Shroud is that Bungo finally fixed that kinetic impact mod in the artifact. It now procs extremely easy, and I think it's got roughly like a 30% damage increase, so I pair this with the Anarchy Grenade Launcher. I just pop on my unstopped champions, flip into the Green Mist super, and spin to win. When it comes to melees, either the Threaded Spike or our Shurikens will give us the AoE that is required. I chose the Shuriken as in Grandmasters it's got that utility of slow, and it'll play much better when we juggle between our super to Transcendence and back into super again. I'm honestly not using my dodge all that much with this kit, as I'm kind of favouring that Ascension jolt, but I have chosen the Gamblers, but if you prefer the reload one, that's all cool. Now for our second half of that exotic class item, I initially tried this with Starry to Scales. I actually found it wasn't all that required, as even without it, it's already really strong, taking on reds and orange bars, and with that 30% champ bonus, it dropped most everything in sight. Honestly, in a lot of cases, it's those orange bar Banes that are now more difficult than our champions. I also found it a pain trying to collect 6 orbs to max it out all the time, so instead, as we are juggling between our supers into Transcendent and back again, I wanted something that would benefit that. For me, that was Spirit of Cyrtarachne, as whenever we throw any grenade, we get a 45% damage resist for 10 seconds. My preferred grenade was the Dust Field. It'll help balance out that Prismatic and statue our foes. If you wanted something a little more aggressive, I would probably opt for the Solar Swarm grenade, as we'll be leaning a little bit into that Fire and Ice cocktail. We've got that newly minted Hail Spike grenade. This too will give us Woven Mail when we throw them, and as it both slows, freezes and ignites, it's great at dealing with champs. We'll be utilizing that Gunpowder Gamble aspect. 6 ability kills, we get ourselves a giant TNT stick, so we can go all Warner Brothers on their ass. And these 2 will give us Woven Mail when we throw them. We're always going to have one of these ready to go when we come out of our super, so make sure to throw it before you pop your Transcendence, as when you're done spamming those Shurikens and Hail Spikes, you're going to have another one built up and ready to go. We can get pretty freaking ballsy with this Transcendence, as not only are we getting that Woven Mail bonus, but we're running Facet of Mending, so our grenade final blows are going to cure us, and this is even stronger whilst we're Transcendent. With all this fire and ice, it makes sense to run Facet of Ruin. This is going to make all our shatters bigger for more AoE, and the same again for our ignitions. Hurt more, burn more. Now I've chosen Facet of Justice here. In the past I haven't used this all that much, but it will make all our ability final blows whilst Transcendent explode. Between the bouncing shurikens and that Hell Spike dot damage, I actually found this bonus AoE very helpful. Additionally, it was also going to give me plus 10 intellect, which does help out my stat distribution. For me, any Prismatic PvE build, I'll always try and run Facet of Grace. This will boost that rate of which we get Transcendence when doing kinetic damage. Now you can use whatever primary you want. I know we've each got our favorites. For this kit, I dust off an old messenger of mine, as when I'm not in my super or Transcendent, a little bit of range can be helpful, and this high impact pulse gave me that. It's also got kinetic tremors on it, and at this point my gravestone is going to read AoE all day. Now feel free to pause here for all my mods, artifacts and fragments, but there will be a dim link in the description down below. This season I thought it was going to be all about that Stasis, Void and Arc, but this green meanie super performed extremely well in our Grandmasters. I'm curious, have any of you guys tried using the original Strand subclass since this roaming patch went through? If so, hit me up if you have, make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy time my damies, what a time.